Lift the back end up. No. Hello, welcome to another live tasting on the curation desk. A couple things to chat about. First, let's take a look at some awesome things I'm a part of. Bourbon and Beyond. This is the festival you want to go to. We've got Foo Fighters, ZZ Top, Zach Brown Band, Robert Plant. I'll be there. Kenny and Ryan from Bourbon Pursuit will be there. Going to have a whole lot of really cool bourbon panels. Make sure you're coming. Everybody can hear me? Yes. All right. So Bourbon and Beyond in September. Check it out. Hometown Rising is the week before if you're a country fan. This is got Luke Bryan, Keith Urban, Little Big Town. Going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to have some fun bourbon panels. Guns N' Roses, Slipknot. Slipknot just came out with a whiskey, by the way. Got to check it out. That will be September 27th through 29th. Check it out. Now, I've also got something awesome to tell you all about. I am a part of the Spirits Network. It's a new network solely dedicated to us, you know, the drinkers, the people who love good bourbon, good spirits. And you can join right now. Go to spiritsnetwork.com. It's a shoppable experience. You can buy the awesome spirits as you watch it. So go check it out. I've got my own shows on there, and you'll recognize a lot of people there. So let's get to it. Let's start tasting. Oh, some other news. The Supreme Court, Jessica, just announced that just put a little bit of a hole into the 3-tier system. So go check that out. You can go see what that's all about. Go to NPR did a big piece about it, but there was a big win for those of us who want direct shipping coming down the line. So go to NPR.org, read more about that. Also, our friend Whiskey Cast has a good explanation on it. So let's get to the tasting. So we're going to start off with Basil Hayden Caribbean Reserve Rye. Now, if that sounds like a bottle that sounds like horse shit, it's because it's a blend of rum and rye. So, yeah, anytime you see something like this, you start to wonder, what's this all about? But, you know, going to keep an open mind here. I'm a big rum fan. I'm obviously a big rye fan. So let's see what this is all about. It says it's 8-year-old. It's a blend of 8-year-old Kentucky straight rye, 4-year-old Canadian rye whiskey, and then finished with the addition of blackstrap rum. You know, back in the day, they would call something like this a Long Island iced tea. You know, they just throw a little bit of everything in there. But you know, there is some places I have some home blends like this myself where I've made I've blended rum and scotch and bourbons together. Oh boy. It's got a bit of a very sweet nose. It's almost like syrupy sweet, like a brown sugar, just syrup, brown sugars and syrups, and then it's like oak. That's really it. Very sweet on the palate, almost very maple syrupy, and just think of like the maple syrup you put on a pancake. That's basically it. A little bit of a kind of a pecan flavor. Very light. This would be an excellent drinker for someone who's a Crown Royal fan or someone who likes those light blends. But it's not necessary. This is not any. I would not recommend this for a straight rum drinker or a straight bourbon drinker. This is really for someone who has like a palate that craves Crown Royal or Canadian Club Sherry Finish or something. It's very interesting. Probably good to have in the house just to try. It really is interesting. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad either. So Basil Hayden's Caribbean Reserve Rye. Why not? A little bit. All right. So now I'm gonna go over to Jessica now.
Who has no palate.
What's that?
I said I didn't have any palate.
You have a palate. Come on now. You've been training. You've got a quasi ascot on. It's too sweet, isn't it? It's really sweet.
I like sweet. I do like sweet, but I mean, it's sweet enough to drink if you're like just want to pretend you're drinking bourbon and throw it back, I guess.
So there you go. Jessica's notes.
Yeah.
Jessica's notes are it's good enough to drink if you want to pretend you're drinking bourbon and want to throw it back. Okay then.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
So now let's go to kind of a historic bourbon, and that this is the company's first bourbon in 102 years. Now, don't let that fool you into thinking that they've been in business for 102 years. What the story is Peerless Distilling, Kentucky Peerless Company went out of business after, shortly after, Prohibition. Basically, they did not. Their company did not survive. Everything that needed to happen in order to survive in the 40s and 50s. You did see a little bit of their presence from like older labels on the market in the 40s. That was because it was still a popular brand. But Corky Taylor was it was the grandson of the owner of Kentucky Peerless, Henry Craver, and he wanted to bring his family's legacy back. And so he had a very successful career in finance, and he was just kind of walking around, mumbling to himself and thinking, I need to get off the beach. I need to do something. And so he and his son Carson pursued an effort to bring their family legacy back. They come back a few years ago. They, are kind of known for their rye. Their rye whiskey just won so many awards when it came out. It was my number 4 whiskey of the year last year. They were American Whiskey's Craft Distiller of the World, or Whiskey Magazine's Craft Distiller of the World. They were Whiskey Advocate's Craft Distiller of the Year one year. So they won a lot of awards. They do a really good job, and they have a technique that they do in fermentation called sweet mashing, when most people are doing sour mashing. So that kind of helps them have a little bit different flavor profile. And so this is their very first bourbon to hit the market. Now, they will not disclose their mash bill. I will stay on them for as long as I live to find out what their mash bill is, but I'm told it's pretty traditional. The proof on this is 109.4 proof, and the age is 4 years old. Small batch. Now, if you've watched me before, you know that I do like their rye. And we did taste this product prior to its being ready by their standards, when it was kind of like preliminary batches. And I had told the young distiller, Caleb Kilburn at the time, that it was not ready. So let's see if it is ready now. Do we still have that bottle? Do we still have that? If we still have that bottle, let's do like a comparative. So breaking news, we're going to do a comparative of what we had last time. Very nice nose for a 4-year-old bourbon. It's sweet, kind of like cornbread coming right out of the oven with a little melted butter over top. The question came in was that Basil Hayden rye as sweet as the Angel's Envy one. I would say the Angel's Envy one feels like a legitimate, like from the barrel sweet. The Basil Hayden sweet felt on my palate like it was like a manufactured kind of chemical. It was not a legitimate sweet for me. So that's not to say it is that, because I don't know that to be certain, but it did tasted chemically. So here we go.
My mouth still is like.
Listen. All right, so here we go. This is the. By the way, I'm nosing this, and I am able to score this. This is my third time to taste this one. So Jessica, you weren't with us, but it was cornbread and melted butter, brown sugar. And I gotta tell you, I did not get this last time. Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle is not really something I get a lot in American whiskey. I tend to get it more in Scotch, but I've noticed that I also have gotten it in a lot of the Wilderness Trail products. So I wonder if honeysuckle might be kind of from that sweet mash technique, because they both do sweet mash. Very oily, very grain forward, but grains that are already kind of turned into breads or muffins or cornbreads. And then after that kind of like grain note, it's like an undercoating layer of sweetness. I mean, just like kind of hits your mid palate and it just drenches right down. This is very good. This is very good for a 4-year-old. And I say this in that the first 2 times I tasted this, I was a little bit on the out with it. I mean, I was not thinking it was like it lived up to the potential. But on the third time, it's good. And if you know my work, you know I don't score unless I've tasted something 3 times. And I like to kind of layer those notes together, kind of like a composite. But third time's a charm, I guess, for this one. It has a pretty medium finish with a hint of some kind of a pepper. Like a paprika. It's like a chipotle. It's like a smoked paprika or chipotle, but it's like either the paprika or chipotle. It's that kind of like smoky, spicy note that you get sometimes. But I'm very pleased with this for what it is. I'm going to give this an 85. So Peerless small batch. Peerless's first bourbon as a family in 102 years. Congratulations to Peerless. This is very good for being so young. You still have, I think it still has a ways to go until it catches the rye. But you know, if you're a young craft distiller and this is what you're putting on the shelf, you got to be very proud. So this is something that could compete for people's palates with anything in this proof range. So congratulations. Now let's do this. Let's go ahead and do a side by side to see if we can taste compare it to what they had before. All right, so Jessica's going to join me here. And I guess one of the perks of the job is, you know, I get to try to train her a little bit. But mostly it's just her throwing books at me and stuff and saying I need to do something. I'm really the world's worst when it comes to appointments. She knows. Oh man, which one was that's the new one, right? So that's the old one. That's the new one for you.
The old one. So
yeah.
Do this one.
So okay, so this is the one that I was just drinking. So this is the new one. All right. Wow, I can tell a big difference. Like the nose in the newer one is way more complete. Like that grain element that I mentioned, like it's kind of like a raw grain, almost like a stillage in the sample that before they had blended it.
Yeah.
Very raw, very green, little over alcohol-y on the sample product, whereas the one that they actually put on market much more complete, very drinkable. So that makes me even more excited about the talent of Peerless, is because they had something that they had one of their composites, and they did not put it out on the market. They kept blending and blending until they got what they wanted. And I tell you, they did the right thing. That was a much better whiskey. It's fantastic. So again, congratulations to Kentucky Peerless. If you all have not been to that distillery, please go check it out. In fact, in an upcoming issue of Bourbon Plus, we have a feature on Caleb Kilmer. Kevin Gibson is a writer on that. Very excited for you all to read it. Not this one. No, it's in the future one. All right, so what are we tasting next? Shall we go to, let's go to this Jack Daniel's Tennessee Tasters Barrel Proof Rye. 132 proof. Their mash bill is 70% rye, 18% corn, 12% malted barley. Now, I just spent the weekend at Jack Daniel's, and I'm just telling you right now, people overlook that distillery because it's Jack Daniel. And I mean, obviously, that black label it's on every shelf, it's all over the world, but don't sell their whiskey short. They make good whiskey. And these tasters selections, the Heritage Barrel from last year, some of these barrel proof, some of these single barrels, I think you're starting to see what kind of quality they have. But so they're trying to compete in the quality market in addition to the quantity market. So if you see a bottle of Jack Daniel's single barrel on the shelf, maybe you don't pass it up. Maybe you give it a shot. And so let's see if the barrel proof rye will be up there with you. Now this one's packing some heat. Read that.
132.
132 proof. So that means these boys didn't add a drop of water coming off that. So this is straight out of the barrel. And I got to tell you, the alcohol is really forward. A lot of these barrel proof products that you're like, you know, they'll be as smooth as butter, but you know, this one, I'm not getting a good nose on it. It's really, really hot. I mean, it's alcohol first, alcohol second. And then just underneath there, under 2 whiffs of alcohol, you got a little bit of caramel. So very disappointing on the nose. Let's see if it makes up for it on the palate. Again, tasting Tennessee Tasters Barrel Proof Rye, 132 proof. By the way, sipping out of my Oklahoma State glass. Go Pokes.
You'd be so excited.
Oh. Oh.
Take back what you just said.
No, it's
delicious.
No, I think I got it. I think this. Where was it sitting?
I have another bottle.
Yeah. You know what I think happened? I think this was sitting out in the sun and the plastic cap like leached into it or something.
Let's see. Does it taste like plastic?
Yeah. No, it tastes like plastic. So sometimes I get these samples and, you know, Yeah, I think that's a bad sample bottle. So we got 2 bottles of that?
Yeah.
All right. So this is a Dancing Goat Distillery. Is that the one that sent us the big old package?
This one. We should try it then. So we could just.
Oh no, I've tried that.
No. It's a different one. It's a different.
Well, it's gross. I don't want to try it again.
3 times.
Okay,
remember?
so we definitely have a problem with this bottle. This bottle. So Jessica, I want you to nose these 2 whiskeys. And tell me if you notice a difference.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So what happened with this bottle? My belief is that it was left out in the hot sun or something, in the cap. That little white thing, that little white part, leached off. You know, the little side. Actually, look in there. You can see there's little specks. Just kind of looks like it's kind of peeling apart, like the small adhesive or something that was in there, leached off into the glass. So thank goodness we had 2, and we can have an actual tasting. Yeah, that tasted like plastic. So apologies for that. Here we go. Pull the shades. Those shades behind us. Do we have shades on? I don't think we have shades on.
No, I took them off.
Jessica took them off.
I need it sunshine.
She needs sunshine.
I'm sorry.
Cloudy day.
Oof, okay, redo the nose.
Okay, here we go. Back to Tennessee Tasters Barrel Proof Rye. We do have to figure out our setup, though. It is a little crazy. Going with banana. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, not rye bread, but wheat bread, like toasted wheat bread, and it's not wheat. And then like toasted marshmallow. Yeah.
Shimmy.
Peppers, banana, pie crust. That's really it. Not a lot going on there. Short finish. Ooh. Do we have any soda water?
Mm-mm.
We all out?
Mm-hmm. We don't have a fridge.
That's right. We don't. I can't bring it over. Yeah. Okay. Here we go with.
You have regular water. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got regular water. Dancing Goat Distillery, which why anyone would name a distillery Dancing Goat? Let's find out. Guided by a family tradition of commitment to excellence, okay, the Dancing Goat Distillery utilizes innovative distillation and aging techniques to share with you the finest spirits available. Okay, then. Limousin rye is aged a minimum of 3 years in vintage American oak barrels. That's a translation. That means they bought someone's used bourbon barrels, and apparently we call them vintage now. And then finished in world's rarest oak from the Limousin forest in France. Praise to you, dancinggoat.com. Now this is interesting. Produced and bottled by Dancing Goat Distillery in Cambridge, Wisconsin. They do not have the state of distillation on here. The label says whiskey distilled from rye mash. Oh, Wade Woodard would have a field day with this bottle.
I think it has something to do with it.
Dave Pickrell may have absolutely consulted. I mean, he consulted for everybody, so he would. He was a very good consultant, but he would, kind of set him up on distilling and then go his way. And they have made this bottle Fred proof. Fucker. Got it.
Take away your biases.
Ooh.
Stop it.
Okay. I can see why they named the dancing goat now. No, I'm kidding. It smells like earth. I mean, it really does. It smells like earth. Kind of a pharmacy. You ever walked in? You know that smell? Every fucking pharmacy has that smell. And it's like no one can tell you what makes that smell, but they all have that smell. Every one of them. Smells like a damn pharmacy. And then apples. Baked apples.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's actually.
Like a pharmacy or like a nursing home?
No, pharmacy. No, nursing homes smell like butt and piss. The palate's pretty flat, but it's not bad. It's like apple cores and bananas, and I don't know, cinnamon, mint. I mean, have I tasted this before?
A different proof.
Well, this is drinkable. So if you're into weird whiskeys, like this might be one for you. It's got a lot of different flavors going on. It's quite palatable, and yeah, it's kind of got some earthy tones to it. Think pharmacy meets a hippie that hasn't washed in 2 days. 2 weeks. 2 days? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 2 days.
It has those weird.
Oh, formaldehyde. No, I don't think that smells like a hippie. Okay. Next up, you know what? How about we go to a little rum? Now, if you know me, you know that I have been quite fond of Foursquare out of Barbados, and it's really hard to describe this, but someone wrote this today on Facebook that it's difficult to assess their rums because every one of them are so good. And Richard Seal has not had a miss in since I've been tasting his rum. And this rum, Foursquare, is won my rum of the year. I've scored it 100 points. I mean, I think this is the best, most consistent spirit in the world right now. So this is the first time I've tasted this Foursquare Empery. It is ex-bourbon and ex-sherry cask. And I can't make that out. Does that say
14?
14? 14 years old. It's a blend of pot and column, which is a very common technique in rum, especially in Barbados. Woo-wee! I want to hear from the audience a little bit. What do you tell me, like, do you all enjoy these? Are you having fun during these tastings? Would you like a little bit more advanced notice, which coming from me would be almost impossible. But I really love doing them. I really do. I wish I could do them on a more regular schedule, but my schedule is chaotic as it is. But I genuinely enjoy doing it. Do I have any of my beta testers in the audience? Let me know if there's you get a special prize if you're a beta tester. Okay.
Oh, Jeff Woodford is beta.
All right, Christine Deems.
Well, we can double check to make sure.
No, don't be fact checking them. They say they're a beta.
What special prize are you giving them?
Well, I didn't think there'd be so many.
Right?
Now I know Alex Mead is a
you get a bottle of.
Yes, you get our
and
our pharmacy meets a hippie.
And the Jack Daniel.
And the plastic.
Okay. Like the app. That's good. Thank you.
All right, so I got to get serious here because this to me is what this is where I like to be in a room by myself, and I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think. I just want to be with the spirit, nothing else. And there's so much going on, and this knows that I feel like I need like 5 minutes just to collect my thoughts. That's how intense this is. How about Empery as the prize? That's a good. I mean, if I was Alan, I'd be wanting Empery as a prize too. Bought a pair of Snickers from a hippie drug dealer. Don't know. Have you ever bought drugs from a hippie drug dealer, Jessica?
I've never bought drugs in my life.
You've never bought drugs in your life?
They're usually given to me.
I've never bought drugs either. Oh. I wonder if that person in the window knows they're being watched. All right, here I go. I'm going to give my best on this because it's incredibly, incredibly intense. Think leather, but like leather chair, not like saddle or bag, but that specific leather chair in like that, in that really nice den or room. It's got a very, very particular smell to it. It's a very, very complex smell. Then like several layers of fruit. And I'm talking baked apples, dried apricot, some kind of like peach. I want to say peach, peach pie. Peach is not something that really gravitates from a smell. You get it more on the taste, but there's definitely a distinct peach smell here. Baked almonds. And the like bacon, like that's been in the oven, and over crisp. It's like a smoke, like a particular bacon smell. Like this has like a smoky, mapley, just this, and I think I know what it is. This reminds me of breakfast. This nose reminds me of like a really awesome, fully laid out breakfast. All those fruits, the jams.
I'm so curious.
Are you rum curious?
I'm rum curious. Plug.
You can get rum curious through the Spirits Network. Do you know that? That's one of their giveaways. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So go to spiritsnetwork.com. I'll say that I definitely taste the bourbon barrels more than the sherry barrels. This is more There's more, I would say, like caramel notes to like the sherry, which sherry would tend to like have like some nutty notes and some fruit, some particular types of fruits. But I get a lot of really caramel, a lot of molasses. I even get a sorghum here. Like I've never in my life gotten a sorghum note out of a Foursquare product. And I'm sure Richard Seale's watching saying, I don't have sorghum in my, because that's a controversial thing because some people try to make rum out of sorghum. But there's a particular note in here that is very much like sorghum. Sorghum syrup, much different tasting than cane syrup. A little bit more raw, if you will. Oh. That finish. That finish is absolute money. There's just so much going on here. I can't. I need to sit down and write this one. This is a little bit more difficult for me to explain. It's like so much going on. Like I have to think, be a little bit more in my element. So, but I can tell you right now, if I'm scoring Foursquare Empery, I'm giving it more than a 95. So that's how much. What's that about? Negative nope. I'm Fred's assistant.
Somebody asked if that was your girlfriend.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm definitely giving
your
this.
wife's probably like, yeah.
Definitely giving this more than a 95. So I will have to get back to that for a full proper review. Again, my first time tasting it. I'm going to finish this glass later. But Foursquare Empery, go give. What am I doing? I am watching the camera. Yeah. So here we go. Foursquare 2007. I'm out of glasses.
Oh, you got a plastic one?
Yeah,
I think that's so cool.
We'll need one more for this one. So here we are. This is a pseudo Glencairn plastic one. It's ones that we have at Bourbon and Beyond, which if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go check it out. So let's look at, this is Foursquare 2007. It is all ex-bourbon cask, 12 years old. It's a blend of pot and column. Yeah, I don't like this for nosing. So you might wonder why I swirl. I swirl because it kind of pushes the aromatic properties up, and I get a little bit closer to them. And I'll tell you, coming off the Empery, this nose is not as exceptional as the Empery. While fantastic, it is not as on point for my nose as the Empery was. I smell that. And I smell this. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one's very very sweet, very very molasses forward. Hints of oak, and I would even say, kind of like a brine. It's like a briny, like beach. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why does Foursquare do this to me? I mean, they like make such good rum. Man, this is just blowing my mind.
You should probably go into rum full time.
You know, if I would tell you what, if more people made rum like this, I don't think that, you know, we'd be drinking anything else. But the problem is that rum distillers don't make rum like this, and good, you know, the good sugar cane's hard to come by. The molasses is hard to come by. You know, there's a lot of GMO and sugar. You know what? I don't need to go off on a whole thing, but
if you would like to know more, read Rum Curious.
Yeah. Oh, so we have Tom out here has had 7 and Empery, and says 07 is better. And you know what? I got to tell you, yeah, I'm with you, Tom. This is a like down the stretch kind of tasting. Like I'd have to taste them side by side. I mean, Empery wins out handily on the nose, but on this palate, man, 2007 just comes in with a vengeance and layered. It's so complex. I mean, it literally hits every part of my tongue. It's like the rum is playing piano on my entire palate, from the roof down to the sides of my jaw to every inch. It's amazing what 2007, how it feels on my palate. And when it goes down, it's like so smooth. It's like butter. And then it just stays on the tongue. I'm still tasting it. I am still tasting that little molasses note that's in 2007. It is absolutely awesome. Awesome. I love this.
So much passion.
Good rum brings it out of me. That's all I can say. Wow. That was fantastic. So, Richard, you did it again. Foursquare, 2007, and Empery are magnificent. Okay, so now we're going to go to probably what is the headliner of today's tasting in the bourbon category, and that is King of Kentucky. King of Kentucky was just announced today by Brown-Forman. You can go to my Forbes column and check it out. You know, it's Forbes. Just search my name or look for King of Kentucky. And this here is a media sample that they had sent me. It is 15 years old, 131 proof. King of Kentucky is a single barrel product. Now, interestingly, King of Kentucky when it started out as a straight bourbon in the 1800s, but it was not really a well-known product. When Brown-Forman took it over, they turned it into a blend, and kind of one of those like blended American whiskeys no one was really that excited about. And then as Brown-Forman grows with the bourbon portfolio of late, they're looking at their existing brands, and they decide to bring out King of Kentucky. And, you know, they can always say that they are the bourbon king, you know, and why wouldn't you bring that name back? That's got such great branding potential. So also last year, I thought it was one of the better releases of 2018. And it was in my top 15 for whiskeys of the year, but you can go to Forbes and see that whole list if you'd like. So it's a very nice nose, very nice. The alcohol, you would not be able to tell by nosing it that it's 130 plus proof. We're talking about roasted marshmallow, cotton candy, dried apricot, cigar box, roasted pecan. Yeah. Very nice. This is a lot different than last year's. So it starts out kind of really like gritty, earthy, you know, and I don't mean this in a bad way. This is actually a really nice note, but dirt, like it's like kind of like a dirty, gritty kind of note to it. And then like a charcoal, like a really well done toasted marshmallow, like really crunchy, toasted, very nice. Then we're talking vanilla icing. A lot of vanilla. A lot of vanilla. On the back end, you get some butterscotch, you get some cinnamon. And then a little bit, like toward the finish, a blast of nutmeg, kind of like the nutmeg on like a pumpkin pie. So you know that little piece, Jessica, the pumpkin pie that's right there, and it's got a little bit of that nutmeg on there. You peeled off, and it's got the fried dough there, and a little bit of the seasoning in the pumpkin pie. It's that little bite right there. It's kind of like that pumpkin pie, that nutmeg, and that dough, like that fried dough, like all right there, or not fried dough, but pie crust. That's really nice. And then it's got a really, really long finish. Long finish with a hint of banana. So that will, I believe that actually does it for our scheduled tasting. Was there anything else I was supposed to taste?
There are some things you can taste.
Do you all want to see me taste anything else?
Have you received your well or foolproof sample yet?
I don't know. Have we?
No. Unless
No.
you got it when I wasn't here.
No, I didn't get it.
I have.
Oh, you know what? We need to taste. We have somebody who watches the program who is a big fan of
Warren.
Warren. He sent us some notes on something he would like to see.
Okay, let me find.
And we're going to try to accommodate that. So he has this belief that you can change a whiskey with just 5 drops, right? Was it 4 drops?
I'm trying to find them.
And there was there a particular release that he wanted?
Yes, there were 2.
Okay.
I gotta find the particular release. I should just call him.
We can call him and say, like, you're on live.
We're on.
We could put him on live right here. Do we have anything from Ohio? We do. We have some Tom's Foolery. Have some OYO. And some other stuff that I can't think of. So while she's doing that, while she's looking this up, let's see if there's anything back here. Hey, have we done the 80 Laws straight rye?
No.
We can do this one. So we're going to do the 80 Laws Secale straight rye, and that is obviously a breed of rye. I will read you the label. 80 Laws is this Colorado distiller, kind of making headways. Really, really a good distiller. Colorado is a fascinating state to me. I think they're one of the better non-Kentucky whiskey distilling states, because they find their own ways without going overboard. So, and 80 Laws is one of those really good examples of that. Are you sure we haven't tasted this yet?
If you have, there's no notes in the app.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, Alan, I'm going to have to do a side-by-side on the 2005 Foursquare and the 2007. And I think I have one bottle left of 2005, but if you want to send me a bottle so I can drink that one instead of the one I got, I'd appreciate it. I'm kidding. Not really, but I'm kidding. Okay, so here we go. 80 Laws, Secale Straight Rye, Bottled and Bond, batch C17-F. So that means it's from 2017. Well, I've been lazy with my tastings. If I'm missing out on 2007 stuff.
Oh.
Woo! That smells like Colorado. Herbs. Rye bread. And here's one. Like Fruity Pebbles.
OYO. We do have OYO. Yeah, we have lots of that, actually. See, here's what I'm thinking on this one. He said he wanted you to try the A one, but
It tastes like beer.
there's A117 and A119. You loved the A117. You did
Okay.
not love this one. So I don't know if we can wait till next time to do that. But we do have OYO.
Okay, so you want to finish the notes on this one? No?
Me? Watch.
So the palate is grainy with like notes of beer, kind of hoppy-like, really reminiscent of a beer. I think I have tasted this 3 times because I've obviously been drinking out of it, and I would firmly give this an 80. So 80 Laws, Bottle and Bond, straight rye, yada yada, 80 points. Not bad. It's actually it's really interesting. Kind of in the line of Charbet and so forth.
You can pick one. These are all from the
OYO.
OYO.
So we have a 7-year-old bourbon finished in sherry casks. I didn't know they had 7-year-old bourbon.
I don't know. Which one do you?
So they're known for their wheat whiskeys. All right, so I'm very much not a fan of wheat whiskey. I am thinking that I will go ahead and give their older wheat whiskey a shot. It's not something that I am typically a fan of. And then I will do their barrel proof or their 7-year-old bourbon. Okay, now I do need some glasses. Are we out of glasses?
Oh my gosh. No, we got.
So we're going to request from the audience. It looks like who asked that? Who has that one? Alex. Alex Mead is requesting that we drink their wheated bourbon. Now, see, I don't know. So is their 7-year-old stuff, their 7-year-old bourbon or the 5-year-old bourbon, is that a wheated? Or do you want the wheat whiskey? Wheat whiskey and wheated bourbons are very different. So wheat whiskey is its own category. I'm just going to drink something. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, so here we go. 5-year-old. It's the Michelone Reserve. First time I've opened this. I didn't even know we had this. Okay, so a bunch of like cracked walnut shells, like that. You can smell like all the debris of like cracked walnuts. Anise. Like floorboard. I'm gonna be honest with you, the nose is not leading me down a direction that I'm excited about for the palate, but sometimes that changes. Well, the nose is definitely better, or the palate's definitely better than nose. The nose was taking me down this kind of like raw materials kind of thing where you often get some unwanted, like over woody tannic notes. The palate's actually pretty balanced. There's no off-putting notes necessarily. It is very nutty, so you can tell like this whiskey's going through a progression, like the nose not meeting up to the nose being so different to me tells me this was probably needed another year in the barrel, for it to be, complete. But the palate is soft. It's got some bread notes and some, some caramel in there. It's not bad. So, and then it's not bad. Okay, so now we go to no, we already did that. We wanted to stay in the bourbon. Now we're going to the 7-year-old OYO Sherry-Finished Bourbon. The nose is I'm struggling with this nose. I'm not really feeling anything on it. I mean, it's there. I mean, it's got something, but it's not jumping out. It's the best I can give it is like a state fair corn dog booth next to a cotton candy machine. But those are very faint. It's not a very vibrant nose. Same with the palate. The palate's very light, hints of cola, hints of roasted walnut, but a little bit of apricot, but there's not really much there. So I'm thinking this was proof down way too much at 86.5 proof, which is not as low as they could go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to give this another taste another time. This is why I taste 3 times, and it's why I never score on one time, because it may not be the whiskey, it may be me. So I want to give this whiskey its due, and I'll taste it 2 more times before scoring. And let's comment here. All this tasting must give you a contact buzz. That's a good thought. I don't know if you noticed. I do spit, and I do this a lot. So I think I got it pretty good. I think I got it down. So what else? We had a request for a barrel single barrel, a barrel bourbon single barrel. Is that the one you have on the top shelf?
Batch 18.
That's batch 18. I've already done 18, so I don't need to do that again. I do. So what else we got? We can do 2 more things before I have to go do dad stuff. So give me 2 things that you would like to see taste. Just name them, whatever it may be. And there's a chance I have it in this office somewhere. Somewhere. We may have a single barrel that I haven't tasted. Well, you know what? I could taste. How about I pick a Catoctin Creek barrel for Bourbon and Beyond? It does not help the app. So I'm getting the pushback from Jessica. Gotta help the app. All right, Old Forester 1920. I've already tasted that. Big time fan. Bone Snapper Rye. Yeah, you can see my notes out there on that. So let me rephrase this. Just keep guessing, and if I haven't tasted, I'll let you know. Old Fitz 13, got that in last time.
Oh,
Yeah, we tasted that last time.
Maybe you should be done.
Well, you know what? I'm going to keep drinking the rum.
Yeah.
Is that wrong? Oh my God, it's gotten better. It's gotten better. What do we have here? We have a new 291. Look at that one. A new. No.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Bird Dog. No. WB Saffel. I don't think I have any WB Saffel in the office. Foursquare 2007, $90 in Manhattan. Buy a bottle. Go do it.
I want you to try this. No, that's not.
All right, Jessica's going to find something for me to taste. Let's just keep talking here. So, how's everyone doing today? I unfortunately cannot taste this one due to. Huh?
You have to taste it.
I can't taste
objectively.
this.
It's in the app with no notes.
I have tasted this before, and I cannot taste it.
I have to put something in the app.
Oh, maybe it's just not in the app.
No.
I can't taste it. I will. It's Southern Reserve Rye, whiskey wood fired, distilled and bottled in Fletcher, North Carolina. That's what I'll say about that. I can't taste that one. I mean, seriously, I have to eat dinner. I have to breathe it.
Okay.
We have to taste something here.
What about this Woodford Reserve toasted oak rye?
There you go.
Like 2000. It's a couple years old, but it's not in the app. So.
Woodford Reserve.
Oh, this one too. Let's do this one too after that one.
What's that one?
That's the sample they got in. That they're gonna start this whiskey company. They want it like tasting notes. We don't have to do it.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Look at that. All right, this looks to be like brought in by a homeless person.
It's 28 months.
Oh, it's called American Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
99% corn, 1% malted barley.
99% corn, 1% malted barley. They must be using an enzyme during fermentation with that. Either that or have like a 20-day-old. You got it all over yourself?
Yeah, get pulled over later.
It's very alcohol-y, corny. I mean, really, this smells like something I would drink out in the woods. Not in a bad way. It's just what it smells like. Oh, not bad. I actually kind of like this. Yeah, this has I mean, there's a whiskey for every occasion, and this has that kind of like gritty, backwoods, corn drinking kind of whiskey. I mean, it's like, I'm not saying I want it in a mason jar with but I kind of do. Kind of want this in a mason jar with some ice with a straw cap on, walking out of my overalls, looking into the sunset, wondering if that coyote's going to get my chickens.
I feel like that should be your pictures we do on Thursday. That should be your headshots, your overalls.
Overalls, straw hat, things like a straw in my mouth, looking at chickens.
Mm-hmm.
I did raise chickens, so I do miss raising animals. I don't like Kirk and Sweeney 12-year-old rum. It's too sweet. I like that.
What's the finish?
The finish is short with corn, but I mean, this is what it is. This is a very corn forward, very, very approachable. It's a good whiskey.
All right.
So this will be the last one of the day. Well, thank you all for joining me in what has turned out to be an hour and 5 minutes and 45 seconds so far. This is Woodford Reserve Toasted Oak Rye, aka a sample. Woo-wee! Big old nose of banana. Hello, banana. Cinnamon, banana. Cinnamon, banana. Banana, banana, banana. Cinnamon. Banana, banana, banana. And more banana. Good God. How does this have so much fucking banana in it? I mean, what did they do? Like drop like go to St. Lucia and just break out all the bananas in their trees and just bring it over to a Woodford fermenter? I mean, my God, this has a lot of banana. Second round, smoky. Vanilla, banana. Okay, so I'll taste this 2 more times and score it, but I think that's it for today. Unless you all hit me up with one more thing.
No.
And I just say, you know what? Let's just go ahead and taste one more thing.
We're good. I have to get to the
But we all have to get going, go about our days, be parents, go pick up the dog, walk the dog, do things like that, be grown-ups. Fortunately, I get to drink for a living, and so this is being grown up for me. And now I'm gonna go home and play dad, and we got a trip coming up, so I gotta get ready for that. So, all right, everybody, you all have a great day. Go taste everything that I just tasted. Let me know what you think, and go buy tickets to Bourbon and Beyond. Go check out my magazine, Bourbon Plus. You got the latest cover there?
Yeah.
So we have Jeffrey Wright, the star of James Bond and Westworld, on there. So go check that out, and go subscribe to the Bourbon Pursuit podcast. And I will see you guys the next time I do this, which I don't know because I never schedule them. Peace. Boom.